This is Lindsay. She says on a first date, she usually asks too many questions. We showed her videotapes of these three single men, and she picked one as her date. Which one did she choose? Which one will our audience choose? And this is Olga. She says on a first date, she always explains the ground rules. Which one of these three men did she choose? Which one will our audience choose? Today on Love Connection, you'll find out who they picked, who the audience picks, and everything that happened on their dates. Now, here to tell us more about Love Connection is our host, Chuck Woolery.
All right. Good audience today. Yeah, welcome to Love Connection, where we've got a new way for singles to meet, and here's how it works. Now, we've compiled a video library of more than 1,000 attractive and available single people. We select some of those singles and show them 3 videotapes. They choose the one they're most attracted to and go out on a date. Then they come here and they tell us what happened on their date. Now, to begin with, we're going to meet a woman who selected a date from our video library. She likes to sing and sail and cut men's hair. She says she used to make snap judgments about men, but not anymore. Please welcome Lindsay Shields.
What changed your mind, Lindsay, about making snap judgments on people?
Oh, well, you know, you meet a lot of people and a lot of guys, and there was one who I said, oh, and they said, oh, I really want you to, my friend said, I really want you to meet this guy, and I went, that guy, ugh, no thanks. I ended up going with him for 3 years. He was a very interesting fellow, but, you know, after we got his hair cut and bought him new clothes and everything, he was great.
You fixed him up.
Sure did.
What's this about cutting men's hair? Do you actually do that for a living, or?
No, not for a living. I've cut my dad's hair ever since I was young, and you can really tell a lot about a man if he'll let you cut his hair.
Okie dokie, let's take a look at the men that Lindsay had to choose from now. Audience, watch very closely because we're going to ask you to pick the man that you think's best for her. Okay, first there was David. David says he's a joker, a dancer, a lover, and an athlete. We ask him where he meets all the women that he dates.
It just happens. Go places, I go dancing, friends, you know. I sleep about 3 hours a night, rarely home, so, you know, I must be somewhere.
Okay, next there was Warren. Warren likes to stay fit. Says he's a doer, not a watcher, and he enjoys cooking with his dates.
I think that's a very creative way of 2 people getting to know each other. The cooking doesn't have to be complicated. It's rather an activity to share that's fun and a way of 2 people conversing over doing something together.
That's fair enough. Finally, you watched William. Now, he likes to keep active. Says he's warm, independent, and strong-willed. He had a brief marriage, and he's a single parent now.
I was married for all of about 2.5 years. Essentially, I married when I was very young and dumb, and now that I'm older and dumber, I've hopefully learned something. We had 1 boy, and it was agreed upon between us that since he was a boy, you know, I should do the raising.
All right, now Lindsay selected one of those men as her date, and we're going to show you all 3 men again before you vote. First, there was David. He's 39. He's in computer sales. Then Warren. He's a clothing buyer, and he's also 39. Finally, William. He's 41, and he's a parole agent. Okay, audience, it's time for your voting machines. Now, you've met Lindsay. You've seen her choices. Please make your choice now. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll meet the man that Lindsay selected and hear everything that happened on their date. And we'll do that in just a minute. Stay with us. In a little while, we're going to find out who the audience picked. Right now, let's find out who Lindsay selected. Lindsay, who'd you pick? Who's the lucky guy?
I picked William Fosnacht.
William Fosnacht. All right, good. On Love Connection, we always get both sides of the story. We ask our couples not to speak to each other after the date. William's backstage. So let's say hello to William Fosnacht.
Hi, William. How you doing? How are you? Real good right now.
Good. How did you feel when you first met Lindsay?
Somewhat in a state of shock. I never saw her before. She knew a lot about me. I didn't know anything about her. And when I opened up that door and those first 2 words came out, I knew I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
No.
What were the what words?
She said, "Ah."
Oh, gee. I had to ask, didn't I? Yes, of course. What happened? Tell me what your plan was for your day.
We took off and we drove up to the Ventura County line on the coast.
Wait a minute. Why did you say that expletive
Because I was
When he came to
I've
the
been
door.
working hard all day, and I rushed home, and I didn't have the picnic baskets all ready. We had a 4-course dinner, and the picnic baskets.
Oh, okay. So you drove up
Oh,
the
I
coast.
was really
You were just
nervous.
late, that's all.
Yeah. And he was a very good conversationalist, and I asked him a little bit about himself, trying to get him to talk.
What did you talk about in the car on the way
Well,
up?
I don't think I should have. He told me that he'd been down here for about 6 months, and he'd put an ad in the singles paper and got all these responses. And I'm going, I'm driving up the coast for this guy.
William, did you do that? Did you put an ad in the singles paper?
I sure did.
Did you get many responses?
I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by the responses, but unimpressed by the people that responded.
Oh, all right. So you're driving up the coast going for where?
Right across the Ventura County line,
I see.
where there's a huge big sand dune that goes halfway up the cliff.
Oh, I know where
Halfway
that
up
is,
the
sure.
cliffs, you know.
I didn't know where it was, and she kept stopping every so often and saying, is this the right spot? And I looking at her and saying, I don't know. I don't even know where we're going.
Along for the ride, yeah.
Yeah, so when we got there, he knew exactly where it was, and he looked up and he said, I know, and then he took out had the picnic baskets inside these big cardboard cartons, and we walked up the hill, and he's in much better shape than I am. I had my hair up. It was very beautiful, and I thought very elegant for this 4-course, and he
It is, it's very
said,
nice.
take it down, take it down. So I took my hair down and poured the champagne, and he kept spilling the champagne. He said, I didn't spill it, but every time he moved on the blanket, since we were on a slant, the champagne would spill.
I only spilled half the bottle. I think she drank the other half. That's what...
You get through the picnic and you load everything up and go to the car, or what?
No, we were going to, the reason we had these things, the picnic baskets and the big cardboard cartons, I mean, they're huge cardboard cartons,
Yeah.
was that when I drive down the coast going someplace, I see kids sliding down this huge sand dune.
Oh, yeah, I've
and
seen
it
that,
looked
sure.
like a bunch of fun.
On these cardboard things, yeah.
So the idea was to hold the empty picnic baskets and slide down the hill.
Great idea
Yeah.
to get back to the car.
It was
didn't
good in
work.
theory.
Why didn't it work? Good in theory, but not in practice. Why didn't it work?
Well, I'm 5'10", he's 6'4", and we're a little over 100 pounds each.
A little too much weight in the sand.
We rolled half the way.
I can believe it. I'm anxious to see who the audience voted for. Are you?
Yeah.
Let's take a look and see. Oh, my goodness. Warren. 63%. They picked Warren.
What?
Hey, they did it. I didn't do it.
Whoa.
Now, Lindsay, we picked up the tab for your first date, as you know, and we're happy to pick up the tab for your second date if you want to follow our audience's advice. That's how it works here. You want to do that?
No way.
Go with Warren? No?
No.
What do you want to
Oh, no.
What would you like to do?
I want to go out with William again.
You do? William, is that okay with you?
I've been waiting a long time for this. Yes.
Maybe you guys can get a great big cardboard box this time. Come on out and join us, William. You think you'd like to cut William's hair?
Oh, sure. There's not much, but I'll do that.
It sounds like you guys had a great date. We have a nice gift for you. Let us know how everything works out, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like
Thank
to stay in touch.
you.
Yeah, stay right where you are.
Okay.
We're going to come right back with another couple in just a minute. Stay with us.
Okay, let's meet another lady who chose a date from our video library. And she likes sewing and baking. She says if she sees something she likes, she goes and gets it. Please welcome Olga Ferguson. Hi, Olga. How are you?
You're so pretty and you're red today. My goodness.
Thank you.
Very, very nice. Now, earlier we heard that you have rules for a first date. What are your rules, Olga?
Well, my rules are to let him know exactly where I am, where I stand in the date. I mean, there's no fooling around off the top, and I want him directly to respect me in the beginning.
So do you tell this to a guy when you say, okay, these are the rules?
Sometimes. It depends on the guy and how
What if
we're
you think
getting
this
along.
guy's really great looking and you just would do backflips to go out with him? Do you lay down the rules then?
No.
I just don't want to jeopardize
No
your
way.
position
Something
there.
good. No jeopardy.
Okay, now you're a dental assistant, right?
Yes.
You always check out a guy's teeth?
Definitely. Definitely, because if he has a nice set of teeth, then that shows he takes care of everything else.
Okay, we know a little about you. Let's take a look at the men that Olga had to choose from. Now, watch closely because you're going to vote again. And first there was Larry. Larry's from Georgia. He spent 11 years in the Army. He says his personality is more important than his looks. That's what he said.
I'm not that good looking, but I think most of the time women like me after they get to know me. You know, not so much as a first glance, you know, hey, this guy's really something, you know, I want him. But like after, you know, people I work with or people I meet through other people, then they find that they like me because I'm kind of easy to talk to, kind of honest, you know, upfront, sincere, that sort of thing. You know.
Okay, next there was John. John likes to travel and read. Says the first thing he notices about a woman is her face, but she doesn't have to be beautiful.
Well, I mean, I'm not exactly always looking for a beauty king. What I'm trying to say is that as appealing as possible. But as I said, if I had met a girl that she was really nice and she was on a scale from 1 to 10, for example, if she was a 6 and she was very nice, I mean, I wouldn't have any type of reservations about going out with her whatsoever.
Okay, and finally you watched Anthony. Now, Anthony says he can do anything and make it fun, and he's learned that it doesn't pay to be too aggressive.
I can't sit here and tell you that I would want to, you know, just jump on every woman that I see. I thought about that many times, but I just don't think that would be wise.
Really? Now, before we find out who Olga chose as her date, let's take a look at all three of these gentlemen once again, okay? First, there was Larry. He's a 29-year-old salesman. Then John. He's an employment recruiter, and he's 31. Finally, Anthony. He's a 28-year-old musician. Okay, audience, it's time to vote again. Who do you think's the best man for Olga? Please make your choice right now. We'll get the results of the audience vote a little later, but right now let's find out who Olga picked, okay? Olga, who's the lucky guy?
The lucky guy was John.
John. Okay, we always hear both sides of the story, and John's backstage. Let's say hello to John Edmondson. Hi, John.
Hi, Chuck. How's it?
I'm fine, thank you. John, what'd you think of Olga when you first saw her?
Well, I wasn't really sure because I really didn't see her. You know, she arrived all covered up. She had a hat on, and then she had some large sunglasses obscuring her face, and of course she had a large, long sleeve, some type of sweatshirt with gloves, and of course she had sweatpants and tennis shoes, so all that I really saw of her was a little bit of her face.
That sounds interesting. Why? Maybe you better tell us what happened on this date, Olga.
Well, what happened was I decided to go deep-sea fishing in Ensenada, Mexico.
You decided this?
Yes, I decided. Sometimes you have to take control. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
So you went down. What time did all this start?
Well, actually, when we first met, it was 2:50 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, gee.
Very, very early. So we drove down to Mexico.
How long is it? About 4 hours down?
About 4 hours one way, give or take traffic.
So you got on the boat now, and you're getting ready to go deep-sea fishing?
Yes.
Did you catch anything?
I caught 2 15-pound, 2.5 feet yellowtail tuna.
Oh, tuna. That's great.
Yeah, it was great.
What did you catch, John?
I didn't really catch anything, I don't think so.
No, he didn't catch anything.
You didn't catch anything at all?
No, not at all.
Well, did you fish?
Right, just for a short while.
What were you doing? What were you doing? What was he doing when he wasn't fishing?
He was trying to get his line untangled.
Oh. Well, hey, listen, that happens. I've had that happen to me.
Another thing is, I believe he got a little ill, a little seasick on the boat. And
No, I didn't really get sick. No, just at one time when I was standing in front of her, I felt a little bit nauseated, but it wasn't from seasickness. She called my attention to a guy on the right side of the boat, and I looked and I saw him bending over very, very sick, and that made me a little sick seeing that guy.
And what was he doing, John?
Well, you could imagine what he was doing, so seeing him made me a little sick for about a second.
John, I'll tell you.
You didn't get seasick, John, remember?
Did it bother you at all that Olga caught some fish and you didn't?
Not at all, mainly because I'm vegetarian, so...
Did you what?
I'm vegetarian.
Oh, you're a vegetarian.
Catching 2 fish.
Okay, so what else happened now?
Well, we finally got done fishing. We went into port. We got to the car. We drove back. And on the way, he did get sunburned. We both got sunburned.
Yeah.
And I believe he was a little bit tired. So he proceeded to, with his bag on his lap, put his arm in the bag and his chin in his arm and shielded me. And I believe he went to sleep. Now, he says he didn't go to sleep.
I couldn't have gone to sleep with the way she was driving anyway.
So, for the 4 hours back, did you go to sleep, John?
I don't sleep sitting up.
You're kind of curious to see who the audience selected for you.
Yes.
Let's take a look and see, okay?
Okay.
Oh, they picked Larry. 45% they picked Larry. What do you think, Olga? We picked up the tab for your first date. Would you like to go out with Larry, and we'll pick up the tab for that one?
No, I think I'm going to hit John again.
You're what?
I'm going to show him another side of Olga.
John, you ready to see another side of Olga?
Well, I guess I really didn't see the first side, so I might as well see the other side.
Well, come on out and join us, John. You guys are still shaking hands. Sounds like
handshake instead of a kiss.
I
Right?
gotta tell you, I must tell you something. I've been doing this show for some time now. It did not sound like a terrific date, you guys. How come you're gonna go at this one more time?
Well, maybe it wasn't terrific, but it really wasn't derogatory. It wasn't that bad. Let's put it that way. It was sort of a business trip. Let's put it that sort of atmosphere.
What do you think?
It wasn't a business trip, John. It was. it was a semi-exciting activity.
Well, we have a nice gift for both of you. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with another couple in just a minute.
Let's meet another woman who chose a date from our video library. She likes to play French horn and paint eggs. She says that she may never settle down. Please welcome Jennifer Ball. Hi, Jennifer.
Yeah, because Jennifer, I said again, because Jennifer was here once before. But she didn't have a very good date, did you?
No.
So we thought we'd give it another try.
Thank
Let you have
you.
another go at
That's
it, okay?
nice.
Now, what makes you think that you'll never settle down, Jennifer?
Oh, men have a hard time accepting my personality, I think. Younger men. Older men like me a lot, though. Older men and me are like this, I think. No, I didn't mean that badly. They just, they like my personality that maybe younger men get threatened by, or they don't believe that it's real or something.
Yeah, how old are men do you think they have to be? How old do men have to be?
Honestly, you want me to say, well,
Yeah,
like
sure.
50 or 60?
Really kind of older bracket then.
Well, I do see some that are a little bit older.
You seem to be a very open person.
I am. I'm compulsively intimate.
Compulsively?
No, really, I am.
What does that mean, compulsively intimate?
It means I'll tell anybody anything about myself. I just lay all the cards out on the table, you know, and they either like me or they don't.
They can pick whichever card fills their hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Well, I'd just like to stay out here and talk to you all night, but we don't have time. Okay, we're going to take a look at the portion of the tape that Jennifer saw this time. Now, don't forget you're going to vote again. First, there was Anthony. Now, Anthony's from Chicago. He smokes cigars, and here are his thoughts on the single scene.
Nobody, in the single scene today, nobody wants to get married. It's all common law. I mean, it's like doing your laundry. You get tired of a partner, and then you can throw in a shirt away. You can just get a new one. You know, it's like a rotation.
Okay, next up, he enjoys speaking in politics.
I don't like to use the word ladies' man. I like to class someone who as well. At least I try to. Because I usually put them first. If it's them first.
Okay, and finally you watch Michael. Now, Michael's from Maryland. He likes to ski, and he's been a big 10 years, and he only dates one woman at a time.
I prefer to be with one girl and get to know her and experience her and what she enjoys, and it's vice versa. You can't do that if you meet one girl and then go to another girl and then go to another girl. And before you know it, you're calling one girl another name, and things just get messed up.
Okay. Before we find out who Jennifer chose as her date, let's see all three men once again. Okay, first there was Anthony. He's a 26-year-old car salesman. And Mark, he's a law student. He's also 26. Finally, Michael, he works as a meat cutter, and Michael's 29. Okay, audience, it's time to vote again. Who do you think's the best man for Jennifer? Please make your choice right now. I can't wait to see. The audience has made its choice. Let's find out who Jennifer picked. Okay, Jennifer, who'd you choose?
Mark George.
picked Mark George. All right. Well, I got to tell you, I know you're anxious to tell us what happened on your date and everything, but we're out of time.
Oh.
We don't have time to hear about it. Can we hear about it tomorrow? Can you come back and tell us then?
Oh, sure.
Good. Okay, well, that's our show for today, and we'll be back tomorrow to hear Jennifer's story and even more, and try to put some singles together right here on Love Connection. I'm Chuck Woolery. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
On Love Connection will receive one of the following. Can a fragrance attract the opposite sex? Spray on Andron by Jovan and collect your own evidence. Or new Glade Spin Fresh Air Freshener. Continuous bathroom freshness plus an automatic burst of fragrance when you spin it. New Glade Spin Fresh. Or Wood Scent Pledge for a clearly more beautiful natural shine. A fresh natural fragrance too. Wood Scent Pledge for all your wood furniture. Or Capri Bubbling Bath Oil. A little vacation from every day where fragrant bubbles soothe your spirit and silken water softens your skin. This is Rod Wright speaking for Love Connection.
Today, live at 5, welcomes actor Paul Newman, Debbie Allen and rock musician Nicky Wood. Then the latest news with Chuck Woolery and John Hammond on News 4 New York. Now, stay tuned in case of Who's Sleeping in My Bed on People's Court.
Welcome to Love Connection. Today you'll meet Dedra. She says that all a man needs is a mustache and nice hands. And she's back to tell us about her date with a man the audience chose for her. And you'll meet Chris. He admits that women don't like to kiss him. We showed him videotapes of these 3 single women, and he picked one as his date. Which one did he choose? Which will the audience choose? Today on Love Connection, you'll find out, and you'll hear everything that happened on their dates. Now, here's our host, Chuck Woolery.
All right. Thank you, Rod. Ready? Thanks, everybody. Thank you. It's nice to see you here today. All right. Got a nice group. All right. Get down to business by meeting our first guest. She's back to tell us about her second date on Love Connection. She likes animals and photography. She claims that men love her short hair, and she says that men have to get used to her dating schedule. Please welcome Dedra Van. Hi, Dedra. How are you? Put his bed. Have a seat. Have a sit. Have a sit, too. What kind of schedule are you talking about, your dating schedule? What do you have to get used to?
Well, I'm kind of an early-to-bed person. I like to be in about 10 or 11.
Really? Do you? You have to get up early for some reason?
No, I just don't like to stay up late.
Oh, well, that's good. I guess that kind of cramps.
Some men's styles, yeah, because sometimes they like to stay out late, and I have to go, okay, we'll go this time, and we'll go the next time, but sooner or later, we're going to have to start going early.
So you schedule a real early date?
Yeah, yeah.
You can get dinner
or
early,
daytime
too.
dates, yeah.
You say that men love your short hair. What if a man doesn't? What if he says, gee, you know, your hair's too short for me, I don't like it?
Well, I'll grow it. I've grown it out. And
It takes a little time.
It takes a long time, yeah. And then after they like me and I know they like it, I'll cut it off and say, okay, now if you want to keep it that way, you pay for all the hairdressing bills, because I don't like to mess with it. Thank you.
Is cute a good word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Show everybody the 3 men that Dedra had to choose from for a first date. We'll show you right now. First, there was Dwight. Now, he loves to bowl and play chess. That was Dwight. Okay, and then David, he likes to play tennis. David also likes to play the field. Oh, David. Finally, Ronald. Ronald's into good books, good music, and good food. Now, Dedra chose Dwight as her date, and we have a clip of that. Let's take a look at that right now and show you what happened.
He wanted me to take off my shoes
See your
and my
feet.
socks to see if I had clean feet. He said,
Why did you want to see her feet, whether they were clean or not?
I'm attracted to feet.
Doesn't sound like it. Take off your socks.
He kept, he said, I want to see it. I was lying there, I go, get away, get away. He says, just let me see it. So he took off my shoe, and he took off my sock. He says,
You got nice feet. They're clean. I go, of course they're clean. I just took a shower. What are you talking about?
Well, the audience that day voted for a different man. I tell you what, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to meet him and hear everything that happened on that date. We'll do that in 2 minutes. Alrighty, we're back, and Dedra's going to remind us again who the audience chose for.
They chose Ron.
They chose Ron. There he is. Okay, Ron's backstage. Let's say hello to Ron Evans. Hi, Ron. Ron, you have a beard now. You look a little bit different.
Yes, I made a few adjustments.
Oh, did you?
Last time I was here.
Oh, no, okay. Here we go.
Oh, you want me to tell you about the date?
That'd be a good idea.
Okay. First of all, he came over to the house, and he came up the stairs, and one of the first things he said was, well, how do I look? How do I compare to the video? And I said, well, you look a lot lighter than I thought you did on the video, because he looked darker than me.
Look lighter?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to hurt his feelings because he was shorter, too, but I didn't say that.
And you're rather a tall girl, too, are you?
I'm kind of, not real tall, but I
tall are
like
you?
tall, 5'7".
5'7".
Yeah.
What'd you think of Dedra when you saw her?
Well, I thought that she was a little too tall, a little too thin, and I thought that her hair was a little too short.
Number 2.
You guys are so bad. You really, both of you.
Okay, anyway, so we got to the restaurant, and, during dinner, I asked him if he read, did he do a lot of reading?
Yeah, because he said he liked it.
Yeah, he said he liked books. He liked books. So I asked him what kind of reading did he do, and he said, I read women's magazines, and,
Women's magazines?
That's what he said. Ask him.
Do you really?
Well, I might have read a couple of women's magazines, but I think that my reading is...
What do you like?
Isn't that what you said, though? When I asked you, you said, I read Jet and Ebony and women's magazines, and I was expecting, bestsellers, something that I could...
Reader's Digest, something you get your teeth into.
Because I was just reading a book, and I thought, okay, we could talk about it.
Well,
What happened next?
So then after dinner, he wanted to go to some romantic night spot, like to look over the city.
Yeah, well, that's nice.
That's nice, but I didn't think... Anyway, I said, no, let's do something else. It's getting kind of late. I mean, I'm not romantically inclined to...
I see, okay.
So
Did you think that Dedra was trying to have a good time on this date, Ron?
Well, it seemed like it was more of that she was meeting a responsibility or an obligation. It seemed more of a chore, and so...
like chopping wood or something like that. Did you feel that way about it?
Well, kind of. It wasn't so much a chore. It's just that I kind of I could have stayed home. I mean...
Dedra, you got to get over this. At your last date, you went home, you had something to do, you stayed home.
I know. I don't know what's happening with the guys. I mean, they're nice. But they're not for me.
How'd the date end?
So, anyway, we were driving around, and we came back home because he said he wanted to listen to some records. And so we came back, and I think we listened to one record. And he suggested that he should leave. So he got up, and we said goodnight, and he kissed me on the cheek.
Who's in charge of the money on this date, Ron?
She was definitely in charge of the money.
Definitely? Why you seem to underline definitely.
Well, as a matter of fact, it seemed like I thought that we could have spent a little more money and a little more time, but it seemed like she was extremely frugal on the date. I thought, well, maybe she needed it to maybe pocket some change or something. You never know.
Well, I have to ask this because it's one of the kind of a rule or one of those things on the show. Would you like to go out with Ron again?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine. I guess it's probably Ron's.
He wouldn't go out with me either, I don't think.
Would you, Ron?
Well, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry things didn't work out for you. As far as the love connection is concerned, we have a nice gift for you, and we thank you. And maybe we'll see you again, Ron.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks again. Dedra.
Yes. If they had only given me a fourth choice, just a fourth one. I know it sounds like I'm being mean, but when I first saw him, I was going, I wish there was a another guy.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can work that out someday.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but in the meantime...
Yeah, I'm on my own.
Flunkola. Thanks for coming back and sharing your day with us. We have a nice gift for you, too. Thanks, Hank. All right, we're going to come right back with our next couple. Hang in there. We're going to meet our next guest. He's from Augusta, Georgia. His hobbies include thinking and reading, psychology books. Oh, it's thinking and reading psychology books. I got you. Okay. He's looking for a woman with a complete set of pots and pans. I beg your pardon. And he admits that he has a twin brother, and they like to play tricks on women. Please welcome Chris Reniger. Hi, Chris. How are you? It's good to meet you. Have a seat. I'll get those cards down one of these days. I'll get to read all this stuff and know what it means. What tricks you and your brother play?
Oh, once in a while, if I...
He's a twin, keeping that in mind.
Identical. I'm 4 minutes older, though. You gotta remember that. If I meet somebody I'm interested in, or if he does so, then I might plan him in a bathroom at a certain club or something like that. We'll have on the same type outfit. And it usually works out. Most of the time, we don't get caught.
Ever backfire on you?
Yeah. I was afraid you'd ask that.
Tell me about that. I want to know about that. Sometimes these can be a lot of fun.
Yeah. There was one night, it was last year, it was in December. My brother met this older woman, and she invited him back to her place, and he stayed.
He did?
Yeah. So he told me about her, you know, and so I called her up the next day and
pretending?
Pretending to be him. Yeah. So...
Plot thickens. Oh, you guys are bad.
Yeah. So I took over a bottle of champagne, and so I had a few glasses of champagne, and I noticed she was staring at me. Very awkward. So I knew she was catching on. I was drinking the champagne like that and everything, you know, and finally she asked me to describe her bedroom. So
busted.
Busted. I couldn't do it. Yeah, but it turned out okay. She asked me to stay.
Let's take a look at the women that Chris had to choose from. Now remember, watch closely because you're going to vote. Here we go. First was Cheryl. She's been divorced for 4 months, early, and she spends hours getting ready for a date. She says that most of her recent dates have been too shy for her. But here's one guy who definitely wasn't.
He was real attractive until I started talking to him, and he acted like he was John Travolta, the dancer and the woman killer, and he said that he was a magnet and all women were attracted to him, and that just turned me off.
Okay. Next there was Vicky. The earliest way, or the easiest way, and the earliest way to turn Vicky off is to wear tacky shoes. She tries not to date during December, so she won't have to buy Christmas presents. That's smart. She doesn't like to meet men in bars. Here's why.
Some guys in there can be such a beast. They just, you know, they don't know how to act or don't know how to treat a lady. And I would love for just once to see how they would react if I walked up to them, buried my face in their chest, drooled all over their shoes, and said, what are you doing the rest of your life?
Finally, you watch Gail. Gail claims that she has no bad habits. She's looking for a man who's into exercise and who can fix her car. She dates about 15 times a month, and here's one guy that she isn't dating anymore.
This guy would take me out and take a Bible with him now and open the Bible, and, you know, in the Bible where it says about how Eve brought down the fall of man and all that, and he'd tell me how evil women are. That kind of, right?
Well, before we find out who Chris chose as his date, let's take a look at all three women once again. First, there was Cheryl. She's 26. She's a registered nurse. Vicky is a lab technician. She's 25. Finally, Gail is 26, and she's a computer science student. Okay, audience, you met Chris. You've seen his three choices. Who do you think he should have gone out with? Make your choice. All right. Who did you pick, Chris?
I chose Vicky.
You chose Vicky. And she is, okay. Vicky's backstage. Let's say hello to Vicky Stratton. Hi, Vicky.
Hi.
How are you?
It's fine.
Good. Just relax back there and jump in when you feel like it, okay?
Okay.
Tell me about the date.
Well, I called her up, and I made arrangements at a really plush restaurant, and I thought we'd do some dancing, something simple.
Did Chris describe himself on the phone? Say anything about it?
No, I'm kind of glad he didn't because he was so nervous. He sounded kind of creepy. I didn't want to know.
Oh, he did?
From there, I went over there, and I was nervous.
Were you?
Oh, yeah. We got in the car, and I finally just asked her if she was nervous. And she said she was, and that broke the ice, and we had a good time. From there, yeah, we had dinner, and I was checking her out. I was looking.
You were?
Yeah.
Any attempts of affection during dinner, Vicky, at all? Anything?
I tried to hold his hand, but he kept eating escargot.
You tried holding his hand. Would he hold your hand?
He was kind of nervous. I was afraid to do.
Nervous.
Great. Okay.
Well, after dinner.
Yeah.
So don't get nervous on me now. I'm not going to hold
No,
your hand.
I
I swear on this.
Hyperactivity.
So what happened?
Well, I took her home, and I really got nervous because this, it's the final moment. Do you make the move or not? And I figured, well, if I make the move and I get slapped, it's going to be on national TV. So I went ahead and...
Oh, do you really think you get slapped? Wait, of course, you never know, do you?
No, you never know. You never do. I went ahead and kissed her, and I thought maybe I'd dazzle with that, but I kissed her again, and...
You did?
Yeah. She asked me to leave.
She asked you to leave? Could you tell that he was real nervous when all this kissing was going on?
Yeah, I could. He left. I kind of shooed him out the door, and he kind of accidentally forgot his keys and had to come back to the house to try and find them, and I knew they were still in the car.
But you let him get away with it?
I let him come in, and then I had to shoot him off. I had to remind him that my father lived next door, so he kind of took off in a hurry.
That sounds like it went pretty well.
Yeah, it did.
Want to take a look and see the audience pick for you?
Yeah, sure.
Right up here. Audience chose Cheryl, 53%. Cheryl was the one that was divorced, like, for the last 3 months or something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, that's who they think you should have gone out with, and if you'd like to, we'll be happy to pay for it. That's our rule here. If not, either you can pay for it or you can go on your own, whatever you want to do.
Well, I think I'd like to take Vicky out again.
You would?
Yeah.
Vicky, is that all right with you?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Well, come on out and join us. This is good. Now I got to ask you, was your dad's light on?
It stays on.
It stays on. You got a house right next to him? How come you did that?
Security.
I guess that's...
I've been out with some strangers.
I guess. Thank you all for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And stay in touch with us. Will you do that?
Sure.
We're going to come right back with our next guest. Stay with us. Meet our next guest. He was born in Chicago, and his hobbies include gymnastics and martial arts. He has his own set of do's and don'ts for first date, and he admits that he's currently dating 10 women. Please welcome T.J. McGee. Hi, T.J. How are you? Never see you. Well, it sounds like you're having, T.J. 10 women. Good night. Are you crazy?
Well, it's actually 9. I fired one. She wanted to get married.
T.J., how do you do that?
Well, it's easy. It's not tough. I mean, it's worth it. You should try it.
My wife would be a little upset, I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. What are some of your do's and don'ts for a first date?
Well, my do's and don'ts, I would kiss on the first date, but I would never make love on the first date.
You lie like a Persian rug. Come on.
No, I have to make sure this woman is clean when I see her.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like I just got to, like, scrub them a little bit, you know, so.
What about the second date?
That's when the scrubbing comes in. Yeah, no, I mean, on the second date, I probably, like, you know, ask them, well, you know, if they bring up, let's make love, you know, I say, like, well, let's take a shower. And they say, no. I say, well, let's take a bath. And they say, no. Let's wash up. And they, no. I say, well, why don't you go home?
All right. Let's take a look at the tapes of T.J. Sonner. Remember, you're going to vote again. Okay, here they come.
First, there was Karan. She was born in Central America. She likes to surprise her dates by answering the door without any clothes on. What? She says that she meets a new man almost every day, but she admits that dating lots of men can be a problem.
It can become a chore, you know. I had one incident where one guy, I used to tell him, well, call before you come by, you know, just to make sure that no one was there when he got there. Sometimes it's okay, but eventually you get caught.
All right, next there was Tracy. She's from Portland, Oregon, and she says that she has to leave L.A. once a month or else she goes crazy. She's looking for a funny man who's a little arrogant, and here's how she acts when she's in love.
It has been like a total obsession. I like eat, sleep, and drink, you know, this person. I find myself going straight past women's departments, straight into the men's, you know. It's like I no longer think of myself. It becomes that person, and making that person happy makes me happy.
Oh, that's very nice. Finally, watch Monica. She was raised in Atlanta, and she's into bodybuilding and sewing. Now, she says that she refuses to pay for a date. Here's something that Monica revealed to one of her girlfriends.
I said, you can't believe, I said, can I go out without someone, at least 10 guys approaching me? She said, Monica, I just can't believe that, you know. So I took her out to lunch with me one day, and we were out 30 minutes, and in that 30 minutes, 3 or 4 guys tried to get on me. She said, Monica, I can't believe that. I said, what you mean you can't believe it? I'm not that ugly.
Take a look at all 3 women again. First, there was Karan. She's 24. She's a physical therapist. And then Tracy is a youth counselor. She's 25. Finally, Monica's 25, and she's a secretary. Okay, audience, you've met TJ. You've seen his 3 choices. You know a little bit about him. What do you think? Who do you think you'd be happy with? All right. The audience has made its choice. TJ's going to tell us who he picked. Who'd you pick, TJ?
I picked Tracy.
You picked Tracy. That's good. All right. Unfortunately, we're out of time, so we're going to find out everything that happened on TJ's date tomorrow. That's our show for today. But we'll be back tomorrow with TJ and more singles trying to make a love connection. I'm Chuck Woolery, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
Some guests on Love Connection will receive one of the following. New Bright rise so fast, now you can turn on a bright shine in nearly half the time. Our Bugles are a blast. Crunchy Bugles corn snack and roasted corn and nacho cheese flavor. Our dinner is wild and wonderful with Rice-A-Roni's long grain and wild rice, the special San Francisco treat that adds a gourmet touch to any meal. Or Ambush, all the romantic beauty of a sunny garden captured in one contemporary compelling fragrance, Ambush by Dana. Or Shasta, more taste, more pizzazz, more flavors than anyone has. Say it, I want a pop, I want a Shasta. Or Curel moisturizing lotion. Most women agree Curel ends dry skin. For Love Connection, this is Rod Roddy. Chuck Woolery's wardrobe furnished by Pierre Cardin.
Welcome to Love Connection, where old-fashioned romance meets modern-day technology. Where you hear all the intimate details of a first date. And now, here is our host, Chuck Woolery. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you. Let's get started on meeting our first guest. Now, she was here a few weeks ago, and the audience selected a date for her. She's originally from Missoula, Montana. She enjoys racquetball and practicing her surfing. Claims that she has a perfect way to turn down a date with a man, and she says that slow dancing is the last thing that she wants to do at a club. Please welcome Gail Rose. Hi, Gail. How you doing, man? Nice to see you back. You have a seat. No slow dancing. Why?
Well, I don't know.
Will you get close to somebody?
No, I just don't like people I don't know touching me.
Oh, right.
Sometimes I don't even like...
assuming you know this person.
Sometimes I don't even like people I know touching me.
Oh.
It just reminds me of when I was in high school and the guy was like, had a little bit too much to drink, and they're kind of draped over you, and...
Sorry to hear that.
Not much fun.
What do you say to a man who asks you to slow dance?
I just say no.
No. Yeah.
They get real persistent, though. If they get real persistent, I say, please, no, thank you. I just don't slow dance. And they don't believe me. So then they start to like, oh, please, please. They start to beg.
Oh, gee.
And I say, you know, get away from me. You smell. You're ugly. Go away.
Something like a groveling man trying to get a slow dance with you. So you got this way to turn down a date. How do you do that?
Well, I've been on the road in a band for the last 8 years, and so I've been traveling a lot. And so I usually just say, sorry, I'm moving. And they usually believe that, because usually I am moving. And it usually doesn't hurt their feelings. Their superior male ego usually stays intact.
Ooh. Felt that right in my heart. Any particular personality that you look for in a man?
I like men that respect and care about their family a lot, because if they love their family...
They won't be hitting on you.
No, they usually have more respect for you if they love their family.
Oh, you're talking about like mom, dad, that kind of thing. I see. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good perception.
True.
She agreed to let the audience choose their date. We're going to show everybody the 3 men they had to choose from. First, there's Glenn. He thinks that most women seem to apply their makeup with a steam shovel. A steam shovel? Next, there's Michael. He says that he has a big problem dealing with women's mood swings. Steve says that his old job of selling waterbeds offered him a lot of opportunities to meet women. Okay. We're going to find out which man the audience selected. In fact, we're going to do it in 2 and 2. We'll be right back at you in a second. We're back. Going to remind us who the audience chose.
Michael.
Chose Michael. He's backstage. Let's say hello to Michael Valentino. Hello, how you doing, Chuck? Just fine. What's up at home back there? Let's say hello to you in case you didn't catch that. Tell me about the date.
Well, it started out, he picked me up, and he was right on time, which I really appreciated.
Good.
That was nice.
Yeah. What'd you think of him when you saw him?
And he looked really good. He looked just like his video, or better.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to go to lunch first.
Did you? So this is in the afternoon, obviously,
Yeah,
or
he
the
picked me
morning.
up at noon.
Okay. Now, what'd you think of her?
I was just completely blown away. She was gorgeous. She was just really radical. She had these skin-tight jeans on with leather lacing in the front and this skin-tight yellow sweatshirt.
Huh.
It just hugged every curve of her body.
And she walks like Morticia, too. Did you notice that?
Oh.
So you're going to lunch or brunch?
We went to lunch. We went to a restaurant in the hills. It's a health food restaurant. We both are into health food, which is nice. And just when the lunch was about to be served, a bird pooped on his hand. So we didn't know each other very well.
Which side of the hand was it? I mean, were you trying to catch it at the time? Or?
It was on my left hand.
Kind of embarrassing, I guess.
Oh, God, to say the least.
Yeah.
Right when I was looking romantically.
Well, what do you do with it? I mean, you know, it's like...
First, I wanted to wipe it off, but I didn't have any Kleenex or anything to wipe it off with. So I'm sitting there staring at it for a while. Like, I looked over at her, and we started laughing. Hey, at least it didn't land in my hair.
And not know about it, right? Well, now what happened?
But he went to the restroom, excused himself, went to the restroom and washed it off. And after lunch, it was a nice lunch, and we decided to go to Malibu Grand Prix Racing.
Oh, I understand. That's fun.
It was great. They have these cars where you can ride together in them.
Yeah, they're
so
pretty fast, too, aren't they?
Yeah, we took turns. I was faster.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. And then we played, like, a couple little video games. We played Ms. Pac-Man, and I wanted that, too. I felt really bad. I kept winning.
Well,
and then...
He
didn't care.
That didn't bother me at all, you know. I was thinking more of the fringe benefit I got. After Malibu Grand Prix, she went to the bathroom, and then she was complaining there was something on her derriere. I immediately saw nothing there, but I had to act really concerned, you know, so I had her bend over. I'm sitting there rubbing and rubbing and rubbing. I did a thorough job, believe me. I told her it looked really good to me.
This is working out real well.
It was working out well. And then we went back to his place.
Mm-hmm.
We went there we were going to change clothes and go to dinner later, but we got there, and bachelor trap. It's a bachelor trap. That's what it was.
Why? What is it?
Well, he's got this bed with mirrors on the top of the bed, lights on the back of the bed, and a bar, and it's just, come on, baby. That's what it was saying.
Come on, baby. She left something out. I have a touch sensor light. The first touch is night light. The second is more of a romantic setting, and the third is a regular reading light. I kept it on the romantic setting, however, didn't get any opportunity to use it. Oh well.
Now what happened?
It was funny. And then we decided to get dressed to go to dinner. Went to dinner, and then we went dancing at this place. It was kind of a conservative type place.
A lot of slow dances, probably.
No slow dancing.
Oh.
Only fast.
Oh, I know that.
I don't slow dance. They didn't play any slow dances.
Well, now, how did the date end?
Well, he took me home, and we kissed each other goodnight. And I don't want to wreck your macho crusher image, Michael, but he was really sweet and really nice, and I'm really glad, I met him.
Well, that's very nice. Yeah.
Macho.
Now, how about, you mentioned her looks in various ways. Was that all that was going on in the stage, Michael?
No, Chuck. Her personality was a 10 plus. We had an awful lot in common. It was just like it was a computer dating service, and we hit up really good.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'm glad we did a good job. Well, actually, I didn't. The audience did for you. Now, since they picked Michael, would you like to take him out again? We'll be happy to pay for that.
Michael, would you like to go out with me?
Most definitely.
Yeah, come on out, Michael. Have a seat. Lace and leather here, leather and lace, well, I'm telling you. It's nice to have you both on the show. Thanks for coming to see us. Glad it worked out for you. Yeah, we're going to come right back with another couple right after this. We'll meet our next guest. He enjoys basketball, sailing, and going to the zoo. He thinks that his social life really picked up after he started growing his hair a little bit longer. And he says that he has a tendency to tell first dates everything about himself. Please welcome Steve Rieger. Hi, Steve. Good to see you. Yeah, sometimes that can be, girls don't like that when you tell everything. What are the kinds of things that you would reveal about yourself?
Well, when I go out on my dates, I like to let the girl know how it is right away. What I'm about, my goals in my life, maybe past relationships, how much my friends mean to me and my family and all that stuff. So that way, maybe a couple dates down the line, she's not finding out new things about me and saying, all of a sudden maybe I don't like this guy.
Kind of feelings and ambitions. Tell me about things changing when you grew your hair.
Well, about maybe 2 years ago, I went down to Mexico, down to Tijuana, with one of my friends to a dance club, and I was, dancing with all these women, having a great time. And then maybe 2 months later, I took down another friend saying how great it was and how easy it is to pick up on women. And I just got my hair cut really short. I had a flat top from playing football. And I had trouble. All of a sudden, I must have asked 4 or 5 girls out, and they said, no. And I probably couldn't have bought a date down in Mexico that night. And I said, hey, well, I'm getting my hair cut. I'm going to let it go out and see what happens from there. So
it worked.
Yeah, I think women, they like the long hair. Maybe it gives them something to play with or whatever. I'm not sure.
What's that?
So, well, you got to start out with the hair, So
let's take a look and see the women that Steve had to choose from. Now, watch closely, because you're going to pick the one that you think's best for him. Here we go. First, there's Kelly. She loves shopping, dancing, and going to rock concerts. She dates about twice a month. She says that she can't stand men who are late, rude, stuck up, or dress like a nerd. She also has problems with men who tend to lie a lot, and here's more on that.
I can't say all men are liars, because I don't know them all, but every guy I meet, I've had a relationship with, they're always lying. I always find out, always. They tell somebody, don't tell her, and I find out all the time. They lie.
Next, there's Lisa. Her interests include aerobics, swimming, and bowling. She admits that she's pretty sloppy when it comes to house cleaning. And she's not crazy about dressing up for dates. And she told us the type of guy that she tries to avoid.
The macho man. Someone, I like them to be tough and everything, but not have to act it and always be tough and never, just have that exterior thing and never be real honest and open with you. People that can't cry in front of you or whatever, just show you when they're unhappy and tell you about it and stuff.
Okay, finally, Rachel. She's originally from Kingston, New York. Her favorite pastime is training her Springer Spaniel puppy. She says that she's looking for a man with a warped sense of humor, and she claims that she needed a sense of humor to get out of this painful date.
I looked over and said, oh my God, I have to spend an evening with this man. He was short, and he was bald, and he had one of those bald heads that sweat. You know what I'm talking about? It like just always has like a film on it. And his hair just kind of went around. He had this cheesy little Hitler mustache. He just was not somebody that I would even find quasi-attractive.
Okay. Those are the three women that Steve had to choose from. Time for you to vote. Who do you think would be the best woman for him? Audience votes all locked in. Steve, who'd you select?
Well, Chuck, I chose Kelly.
You chose Kelly. All right, she's backstage. And say hello to Kelly Conley. Hi, Kelly. Make yourself at home back there, okay? Thanks. All right, tell me about the date.
Well, I came home after doing the videos, and I gave her a call at 9 o'clock, and we just started talking about interests we have about each other and stuff. We talked on the phone for about 2 hours. Things were going really well.
Long time.
And I threw up some ideas of things maybe we could, do. I thought maybe we could go to the Bonaventure or, go dancing or maybe go to a Cal State Fulton basketball game. And then we...
You make a good impression over the phone, Kelly?
Yeah, I had a great time talking with him. His voice was a little gooberish at the beginning, but he said he had long hair. And I love guys with long hair. And he didn't have long hair. In my book, he was bald.
Oh, really? This isn't long for you, huh?
Well, see, when I viewed her video, she said she liked long hair, and I had no idea, it had to be, heavy metal, rock down to your waist, right? And I thought, my hair down to my shoulders for the average guy, it was pretty long. And I explained that to her, and I guess she thought I was bald.
Well, you decided to go where?
Well, we decided to go to the zoo and
So
maybe have a
you
picnic
go pick
dinner.
her up?
Right. I went down to her house. I introduced myself at the door. I noticed she was a little taller than I, might have thought, but she seemed very nice, and she invited me inside.
What did you think when you saw him? Now, of course, his hair. But what else?
Well, I thought he was dressed a little too casual. I know we made plans to go to the zoo, but it was raining all day. So I thought, I knew we weren't going to be going to the zoo. So I thought he could have dressed up a little bit. And, of course, he didn't have the hair that I thought he did. And he had very nice eyes.
What did you think of her when you saw her? Other than being a little taller.
No, I thought she was, she looked a lot better than she did on the video. I thought she was quite attractive.
So now what happened?
So we went inside and we talked for, maybe an hour and trying to figure out what we're going to do since it was
for an
raining.
hour waiting to, okay.
Yeah, because, it was raining. Our plans were already, gone. So she decided that, well, maybe we should go to dinner early. And she said she wanted to stay kind of local. So we went to a restaurant she was familiar with.
What time is it now?
About 4:30, almost 5 o'clock.
Well, it is early.
Right, and so we went, we had a dinner. So afterwards, we were trying to think of things to do to kill some time because we were planning on going dancing that night, and we decided to go see a movie. And she really didn't seem to like any of the movies.
You didn't enjoy that?
It was fine. It was kind of a friendly, just sit there, stare at the screen, no sparks, watch the movie.
So nothing's going on here at all?
Right, no, not at this point. It just seemed like we talked a lot, and I thought
okay.
Maybe we'd get along pretty good.
So you leave there and you go dancing?
Right. We had originally planned to go to a place down by where I live, a rock kind of dance place, and I was kind of looking forward to that, but she decided that she wanted to stay around here and go to a club she was more familiar with.
Why didn't you want to do that, Kelly?
Well, the club we were going to was like a heavy metal club, and there was tons of hair everywhere, and I think I would have been staring at them instead of him, and I wanted to have my attention towards him and get to know him. We had a good time talking, so...
So you go to a club around this area?
Yeah, we went to one right around where she lived, a place she was familiar with, and we went in there. We had a couple of drinks. We did some dancing and did some more talking, and we left. We went back to her house. I walked her up to the door, and, we said goodbye, and I told her to say hello to her father and stuff, and we gave each other a kiss goodnight, and we left thinking, we had a good time, but that was probably about it.
So probably no future here.
Well, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of sparks or anything flying.
Let's take a look and see
Chuck,
the
I want
audience.
to say one
Sure,
thing.
Kelly, you can say anything you like.
The next weekend was my birthday, and he came by and dropped off a card, which I thought was very,
Very nice.
I really
Very
appreciated it. I
thoughtful.
thought it was darling.
Let's take a look and see what the audience looks for. The audience picked Lisa, 56%. If you'd like to go out with Lisa, maybe they know best. We'll pay for it.
Yeah, I'll give Lisa a try.
Okay.
Should be nice.
It didn't sound like you had a bad time, Kelly. It just sounds like, as he said, there probably weren't any sparks there, but obviously he's a very thoughtful guy.
He was very nice. I had a good time, though.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming on the show. Maybe we'll see you in better circumstances, okay?
Thanks.
All right. And good luck with your date with Lisa.
Thank you.
Nice to have you on the show, too. We're going to come right back in just a minute. See you. Our next guest claims that any man on a motorcycle will cause her heart to flutter. She's an amateur magician, and she admits that she uses her magic tricks to meet men. And when magic doesn't work, she says that she pulls out her trusty 35mm camera. Please welcome Wanda Phillips. Hi, Wanda. How are you, honey? Good. Come have a seat. Well, let's see. What kind of magic tricks do you use to meet men?
Well, it depends really on what I'm wearing. If I'm wearing something like this that kind of lifts and separates, I'll go up to a man and I'll go, I bet I can read your mind. And he'll kind of like smile. And I'll go, well, let's make it scientific. And I'll whip out a deck of cards and do something really fun. Now, if I'm sitting at a nice bar or restaurant, what I'll do is, if it has like a little candle, I'll grab the fire and throw it across the room. And that's always a real eye-catcher.
You can do that?
Yes, I can.
How do you do this?
I can't tell you. It's a secret.
Boy, they're all alike. They never tell you anything. How much did you pay for that trick?
I can't tell you that.
See? You gotta go buy it. Yeah. How does your camera assist you in meeting men?
Well, I use one of the oldest tricks in the book. I carry my little camera in my purse, and whenever I see a cute guy, I like whip it out. And I run over and I go, you know what? I'm a photography student. Could you help me, sir? And he goes, sure. And I go, well, why don't you stand here? I need a subject for this panorama. And so I'll take some pictures, and then while I'm doing that, I'll chat him up, and I'll say, you know, would you like a picture for yourself, or would your wife like a picture? And if he says, I'd like a picture, but I don't have a wife, what I'll do, I'll get his address and his phone number, run down to the one-hour photo developing places, and I'll get those pictures developed and put that little card in there that says, honey, let's have lunch, and mail it off.
All right. Very nice. Not bad. Not bad. Well, with that in mind, let's take a look at the tapes that Wanda saw. Don't forget you're going to vote again. Here we go. First, there was Harlem. He claims that he dates 5 nights a week, and he says that he meets a lot of women in movie theaters. The first thing he notices about a woman is the way she dresses. And here's what happened when he told a date he didn't like the outfit she was wearing.
She got a little upset, but she changed. She said, I don't know what to wear. I said, you want me to pick it? I mean, I picked something out of her wardrobe. And she would look nice. She loved herself. All the guys were trying to pick up on her there.
And next there's Frank. He's from Birmingham, Alabama. Claims that he's an excellent singer and dancer. Avoids women who talk too much and who want to spend all his money. And he admits that sometimes his profession gives his dates the wrong impression about him.
Most people think, accountants are pretty boring. I mean, you sit at your desk all day long and just crunch out numbers. But there's another side of me. I like to sing in the mirror. I like to dance. And I'm a kind of crazy person, but I guess I do most of that behind closed doors.
And finally, Justin recently moved here from Chicago, loves women with big legs. And he considers his date intelligent if they can tell him who Dan Quayle is. Justin told us about a recent date that didn't end as romantically as he expected.
She goes into the room, gives me the line about she's going to slip into something comfortable. And she comes out in this outfit and stuff, and she starts playing this music, and she starts dancing around me and has these shrunken heads and stuff. I'm going like, no. But excuse me, I just remember the previous appointment.
All right. Those are the 3 men that Wanda had to choose from. Time for you to vote. Who do you think would be the best man for her? Audience has made its choice. Wanda's going to tell us who she picked. Who'd you pick?
I picked Justin.
You picked Justin. All right. We're out of time, so we're going to find out everything that happened on Wanda's date tomorrow. That's our show for today. We'll be back tomorrow with Wanda and more singles trying to make a love connection. Until then, I'm Chuck Woolery, and I hope all your dates are good.
Woolery's wardrobe furnished by LaCrosse, a division of Warren Sewell Clothing Company. This is Johnny Gilbert speaking for Love Connection.
Welcome to Love Connection, where old-fashioned romance meets modern-day technology, where you hear all the intimate details of a first date. And now, here's the host of Love Connection, Chuck Woolery.
First guest. She's been married 6 times, and she's a former Playboy model. She enjoys camping and swap meets, and she claims that most of her recent dates have been bad ones. Please welcome Marie Pearsall. Hi, Marie. Welcome back. Good to see you. So your recent dates have been bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Most men just don't know how to handle me. I don't like a man that's chauvinistic, but they definitely know how to control me.
What do you mean by that? How do they control you?
Oh, they have to know how to control.
Oh, they have to know how to control you. Yeah. Well, how do you react when, or how do men react when you tell them you've been married 6 times? That's an interesting number.
I don't tell them. I just tell them I've been married several times.
Several times. Okay. I remind everybody what happened yesterday. Our studio audience saw Marie's 3 choices. They voted for one. I'm going to take a look at all 3 men and catch you up. First, there's Doug. Doug divorced his last wife because she went to play bingo every night. Then John, he stays in shape by dancing to country and western music. Finally, Michael is a wine connoisseur. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll meet the man that Marie selected and hear everything that happened on their date. We'll do it in 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Be right back after that. All right, we're back, and you're going to tell us who you selected.
I chose Doug.
You chose Doug. Yeah. Okay, he's backstage. Say hello to Doug Beckman. Hi, Doug.
Hi, Chuck.
How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you.
Good. Make yourself at home back there,
Okay.
and Marie will start us off.
Well, I got up a little bit early the morning that, well, first of all, I finally got in touch with him by phone. And we agreed we were going to go to Disneyland.
Disneyland?
Yeah. He drove up to pick me up. I got up extra early that morning, cleaned my house, mopped, and I like to make a good first impression. Right. And I put on a kind of a snug-fitting T-shirt, pair of shorts that were kind of sexy. It's left over from the ex-boyfriend. Like I said, I like to make a first impression.
Well, now, how did she look to you when you got there, Doug?
Chuck, first I drove up, and the yard was messy. I walk up to the house, and the house was a mess. I don't know what it looked like before she cleaned it up. She did have on shorts, but underneath the shorts she had rust-colored pantyhose, and I didn't think that didn't go good. It just wasn't right for me.
Chuck, this is the color that I wear only. Is that rust?
Well, pantyhose under shorts don't go.
Look like rust is growing on those. No. So what happens next?
We got, he at least he was man enough to open the car door.
Well, you didn't care for the way he looked either?
No, I don't like hairy chicken legs, and he has a very small chest.
Chuck?
I like men that are very, very well built, and he isn't.
Oh, Chuck.
You know, it's left over
That's
from the
a lie.
ex-boyfriend.
I got better looking legs than she does.
So you get to Disneyland. Now what happens?
Well, we park, jump out, get on the tram, go in. It's just literally that quick. Get up, buy tickets, go in.
But it's kind of a happy, light place, isn't it?
Oh, Disneyland is, yes.
So did you have a good time in spite of it, or did you?
It was like going with a relative, more like my uncle or maybe my grandfather.
Chuck.
What, Doug?
This woman on the phone, she told me that she was 40 years old, which is fine.
Oh, don't.
But Chuck, but Chuck, we're going along, and the woman is constantly hitting me, hitting on me, constantly touching me, nibbling on my neck, nibbling on my shoulders, constantly doing it.
Well, she says she didn't do that at all.
Chuck,
well,
to begin with, I cannot stand to kiss a fur ball. He was... No. I am a very physical person. In fact, I've done it. I like to touch.
I
It's
touch
just-
people when I talk to them, too. I understand.
Very much, but I do not kiss on people's neck, much less a fur ball. Unless
Wait,
I know them. I don't, that's just not me.
Well, so obviously
No,
you
there
all
was
aren't
no
getting along.
attraction.
What do you do then?
Well, thank God we made it through Disneyland. I called my kids 5 times while we were there, if that tells you how interesting the date was.
Well, it was the first time I had a chance to just sit and relax.
He was right 4 feet from me and constantly saying, "Is everything okay? Is everything okay?" You know, he didn't know anything about what was going on.
Did you ever go to dinner or anything?
Thank God, yes, finally. He got lost going to the first place. Second place, he got off on the wrong ramp. He does not even know how to order supper. He tells me to order. At least my ex-boyfriend knows how to make a woman feel like a woman, you know, when he orders. Oh, yes.
The whole time we were at the restaurant, half of the time she spent on the phone to her family. She asked me, she says, "Well, would you order for me?" And I said, well, fine, but the waitress never came around. But the thing is I paid for the whole thing. I paid, well, you got a $75 check and you paid for nothing. I paid for the whole thing. I paid over $125 a day.
I guess, you know, we're never going to know what really happened because both of you deny everything, so...
I cannot stand a hairy man.
Let's take a look and see who the audience picked for you.
The best of 3 evils.
Oh. Well, they picked Michael, 50%.
Good.
I don't know. I mean, no, you don't want to talk about Michael at all. Nothing at all.
No, actually, I've gone back with my ex-boyfriend, and he is one of the finest, greatest, 5'6.5" beautiful men I've ever known in my life.
Well, good for you. Congratulations. I'm glad. So. Well, what's wrong with that? She's got somebody to hang with. I mean, leave her alone. Sad, Doug, I'm sorry we didn't make a love connection
okay,
for you.
Chuck.
Yeah,
No problem.
Sounds like you had a terrible experience.
I did. I did.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. We're going to come back with another couple in a minute. She gets her conservative nature from her mother. Recently moved here from New York and is shocked by the ratio of women to men. Another problem she's found is that most men want something she doesn't want. Please welcome Jean Erger. Hi, Jean. How are you? Nice to meet you. Well, what do these men want that you don't want?
Well, for one thing, I must be attracting really conservative men because they all want babies from me. They really do. They want me to reproduce.
Conservative? Well, you look very conservative, though.
Well,
I mean, I look the way you're dressed. I mean, you're dressed kind of like a businesswoman would be dressed.
Well, my mother told me to dress like this.
Do you do everything your mom tells you?
No, no, no. But I'm really a wild woman.
You are?
And I am. I just look like I'm conservative.
You're conservative,
but...
yeah. Well, it may be misleading these guys.
Well, I tell you what it is. The combination of my family is that I have a mother who was a nun.
You have a mother who was a nun?
A real nun. And...
Well, that must have been interesting for the church to deal with.
Well, it was interesting because she never quite took the vows. You know, she got right to that point. And then my father was a drinking, fighting, smoking, cussing fighter pilot. So I got good on one side and corruption on the other. And the two, like, worked together. But I tell you, my mother had some good philosophies in life with men. And I know why I attract the possessive kind.
Why is that?
Now, she taught me well, don't get me wrong.
Don't point that thing at me unless you mean to use it. What'd she teach you?
Well, for one thing, she said, never take your good china out on a picnic.
I'll try to remember that.
And she always taught me that you have what they want and make them work. And they'll appreciate it.
Let's take a look at the men that Jean had to choose from. Now, remember, you're going to pick the man that you think's best for her, okay? First, there was Edward. He describes himself as the smooth, romantic Zorro type. He likes camping, motorcycles, and water sports. Edward's from Mexico City, and this is his biggest problem with American women.
They're
chip on the shoulder, you know, and they challenge my decisions, you know. It's like, if they don't like my decisions, you know, they should voice it, but in a gentle manner, not demanding, you know, and they're just, I can't handle bossy women.
All right, next there's Richard. He's the father of 3 girls and 1 boy, and he's an avid fisherman. He wants a woman who likes the outdoors, obviously, and Richard likes candlelight dinners, and here's how he knows a date is going downhill.
They act bored, like they're not interested, or they're looking at other people and gazing around off into outer space somewhere, and they're not into the date and not enjoying themselves. It's kind of a pretty good indication that there's nothing going and you might as well cut it short.
Okay, finally, Albert wants a talkative woman with long legs. Now, on dates, he'll take a woman anywhere from a picnic to a Broadway show, and Albert travels a lot for his job, and here's a problem his traveling causes.
Since women don't trust people who travel quite a bit, and that's a key consideration, is that please pop in on me anytime, any hour of the day, preferably like the middle of the night if you don't trust me, okay? And all I ever ask them is to come knocking at the door, walk through the door with a full-length coat on and not have anything on underneath.
Well, there they are, the 3 men that she had to choose from. Time for you to vote. Who would you fix her up with? Make your choice now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll meet the man that Gene selected. Hear everything that happened on their date. It's 2 and 2. Be right back at you. Okay, we're back. Gene's going to tell us who she selected. Who'd you pick?
Albert.
Albert? Okay, haven't seen each other since her date. We always hear both sides. Here's Albert Cassius. Hi, Albert.
Hi, Chuck. How you doing?
Just fine. Make yourself at home back there, and
All right.
Gene will start us off.
Well, I selected Albert, so I called him and I invited him out on the date. And I was pretty impressed because we started talking. He asked me what I wanted to do. I said, you know, whatever you want to do. And he said, well, did they give you any money? I said, yes, they gave me $75.
75, all of that.
I'm like waiting. And he says, well, take the money and go buy yourself a dress. Have a good time.
What did you think?
I thought, well, is this for real or what?
And it was,
And
huh?
it was.
Yeah, well, why are you so generous, Albert?
Well, Chuck, I'm a Latin.
You're a what?
I'm a Latin.
You're a Latin?
Yeah. And I think,
Are you a Latin with dough?
No. I just believe in treating a lady like a lady. Yeah. And I think I didn't want to be a money issue.
Well, now, did she tell you anything else about herself?
Well, she told me, you know, based on my application and what I asked for, she said she had these legs about a mile long that were her strongest attribute. And I just couldn't wait to see them.
Yeah. Well, so now what happens next?
Well, Albert and I started talking, and he said, what would you like to do on the date? And I said, well, anything. He goes, let me take care of it. Let me plan it. Oh, let me do everything. I'll pay for it. I said, knock yourself out.
Yeah. So what? So he come pick you up?
Yes. He came and he picked me up, and I opened the door, and I love a man in a blue suit with a white shirt and a silk tie. He looked like $1 million bucks. Yeah. He had this physique. You know, little butt, broad shoulders. Typically male, which I love.
This is kind of the fighter pilot side of you coming out, isn't it? So what did you think of her legs when you saw it?
Well, I mean, it was like this mile-high stadium. I mean, the legs went forever. You know? And Chuck, she made a very big deal out of her looking very average. Now look at her. Does she look average to you?
No.
No.
So you were happy.
I was
very
because
happy.
I'm living in LA and the women are gorgeous. I moved here, anorexia society, no cellulite, liposuction they've had, breasts.
And they're everywhere, too. Well, you're doing okay, though, huh?
Well, with
Chuck, she needs no
girls, I mean, thank God.
Well, yeah, but you have to buy those things with wires in them and stuff.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
So now where do you go?
Well, what happens is we get in his car, and I don't want you to think that I'm money happy, but
I don't think that.
He was driving the most gorgeous Porsche. I mean, I fainted. I looked at it.
I knew it. See? I knew he had dough. I knew it.
And then I remember what my mother said. It's just as easy to fall in love with a rich man as it is a poor. Oh, I'm falling. I'm in love.
You are?
So, check this out. So we get in the car, and I was amazed because he turns on the stereo, music like you've never heard. He has good taste in music. And I say to him, that's a good radio. He goes, oh, this isn't a radio. This is a CD.
Oh, gee. Yeah,
I said, a CD in a car?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. I said, well, that's a new one.
Yeah.
And then we're driving, and he turns on...
Probably got one of those big changers in the back, too.
Yeah. He can take it out and put it in his pocket.
Yeah.
And then he calls his friend Linda, and we talk on the telephone, and I'm flabbergasted because I live in L.A., and let me tell you, I have no radio, nothing, but I do have my windows intact, which I'm rather proud of.
But the man's on the phone in his car with a CD playing at the same time.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so then he takes me to the most wonderful restaurant. We go in. It's right there on the water. I haven't eaten on the water before. So he, order anything you want. Wine, let's have wine. I mean... He goes, what do you want? And I said, oh, I'll have this. And then we start talking about food and traveling, and he goes, hey, you like New York? I said, I lived in New York. He goes, I'll take you there sometime. I go, really? For nothing? What? What is this? What are you taking me to New York for now?
Remember that China thing?
That's right.
That's right. So now dinner goes real well.
Dinner was fabulous. I'm sitting there before we get dinner. Here comes the maitre d' with a dozen roses.
He's really doing it upright.
I sat there and I thought, I'm gonna faint, I'm gonna faint. And then I saw these people from the other table looking, and I just was like, thank God.
So now, could you tell she really liked this a lot? Howard, these roses and everything?
It was a.
You had to be having a time of your life.
It was great to see somebody who was so appreciative of anything
and
you did.
Enthusiastic about it too.
Sure, she was great.
All right. So now you're cooling it at the table with the roses.
That's right.
And now what happened?
And so then he takes me dancing at the most fabulous hotel. I don't know if that thing was revolving, but it looked like it.
Was it
had
round?
a little wine, by the way. So I am in heaven, and we go walk in, and now the only bad thing is that we were standing up and that it was rather crowded. But I told Albert, I said, don't worry about it. I lived in New York, and if there's one thing I know how to do, that's get a seat. I was on the subway like you wouldn't believe. I'm like, move over.
I bet they did, too.
And you know what everybody does that's wrong when you go out dancing? We're dancing, and I looked at the table. Albert and I were dancing. It was the first dance. I know this is unromantic, but I saw that table, and I saw those people leave, and nobody else saw, and I said, sit down.
Take that,
That's it.
So, you know, I've been talking to you now for several minutes, and you've been telling me about this date, and I hearken back to the nun and the fighter pilot, see? And it seems to me like the nun really doesn't have a chance here.
Can I tell you this? You know, I listened to my mother, and I swear to God, I was a virgin just like they told me to be. And you know, I went to college, and I let it rip.
So, Gene, let me ask you something, Gene. Is there any romance on this date?
Oh, he was romantic.
Did you kiss?
Yes, when we were dancing, he kissed me, and not in an awkward way, and he didn't try to swallow my tongue or anything. I mean, I hate that. So we're dancing, and he gave me the nicest kiss, and then we went back to the table, and we had some more wine. I had to just let it sit.
Really?
So,
well, now, how did the date end?
Okay, so then what happened is he drove me back, and I got to tell you, I had to pee like a racehorse.
You drink all that wine, and it can happen. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a look and see the audience pick. I would do this all day, but I can't. Let's see. I want to hear about your old second date.
Would you like to go out
date.
Oh, it'll be my pleasure, Gene.
Come on out.
Great.
Have a seat. You are probably the most fun I've ever had on this show. I swear you are. You're funny and fun. Thank you both for coming on the show. We had a great time. I want you to come back and tell me about the second one.
All right.
That's our show. That's all the time we got. We'll be back next time with more singles trying to make a love connection. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
Chuck Woolery's wardrobe furnished by Bernini. This is John Cervenka speaking for Love Connection. Love Connection is an Eric Lieber production, produced in association with and distributed by Warner Brothers Domestic Television Distribution. Welcome to Love Connection, where old-fashioned romance meets modern-day technology, where you hear all the intimate details of a first date. And now, here's the host of Love Connection, Chuck Woolery.
Hey, Johnny. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you very much. Welcome to the back. Down on the floor. It's nice to have you. Thank you. Let's get started by meeting our first guest. She treats her dates like special events, and she admits that her apartment is usually a mess when men pick her up for a date. She says that she practices being sexy before her dates, and she thinks that most men approach dating way too casually. Please welcome Roxanne Rich. Hi, Roxanne, how are you? So you think that men should dress up more for dates? Is that what you mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What else?
More than that. I mean, where's the chivalry lately? No, they need to call me, not expect me to call them. They need to open the door. They need to pay.
What do you do to practice being sexy before your date?
Sometimes, you know, if I'm going out with someone I really like, I'll get in front of the mirror and I do like a Marilyn Monroe impression, you know. Happy birthday to you. You know, or I'll do this French accent that I do, you know, like, darling, je vous aime beaucoup. And then when I'm done, I like do Sebastian the Crab. I'm like, tonight, you get to look your best. You get a fuck you deep. Like, you get a butt yet. Like, you know?
And do you ever do it while you're on your dates?
Sometimes.
Yeah, okay. Take a look at the men that Roxanne had to choose from. Now remember, you're going to pick the man that you think's best for. Here we go. First, there's Greg. Greg rates himself a 9. He believes that he resembles Tom Cruise. Recently into a 3.5 relationship because she nagged him too much. And Greg told us what kind of image he thinks he gives off.
Studly image. Definitely look dressed to impress. I sometimes I like to wear vest, t-shirt, vest, maybe jacket, sport coat. Just like to look good. Definitely like to look good.
Okay. Next, John was married for 5 years. He's been divorced for 2 years. And he says that he's never alone because he's raising an 8-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. Now, he dates about twice a month. And here's John on the subject of trusting women.
I don't trust them at all. It takes me maybe about 3 to 4 months before I'll actually start to trust somebody, because I've learned by dating so many women and learning about so many people that it takes you a good long time before you'll get to actually know somebody and know what they're about. You know, even after that, they could turn around and be something totally different.
All right. Another John. This other John thinks women like his assertiveness and his spontaneity. He's looking for a woman who can settle him down. In his free time, he enjoys shopping, jet skiing, or going to the shooting range. And John told us why he thinks the freeway is a great place to meet women.
You always find yourself looking, hey, you know, that person looks pretty good, or I wonder what that person's like. You make eye contact and do the drive-by each other thing a bunch of times, and finally you do the number exchange, and you go from there. And plus, if they go that far where they exchange the number, it means they're kind of adventurous, too.
Okay. Those are the three men Roxanne had to choose from. It's time for you to vote. Who would you pick for her? Audience has made its choice. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll meet the man that Roxanne chose, hear everything that happened on their date. We'll do that in 2 and 2. Be right back in. Roxanne's going to tell us who she picked. Now, who'd you pick? It's your turn.
I picked John.
John, okay. He's backstage. Say hello to John Safat. Hello, John.
Hey.
How are you?
Rox.
What?
I said, hey, Rox.
Hey.
Make yourself at home back there, John. Here we go. Tell me about the date, Rox.
Well, we made our plans, and he came over, and he had a rose, of course.
Did he? And what did you think of
it
it when you saw him in person?
Oh, he was hot. Definitely hot. You know, nice build, nice dish. You know.
And you'd never seen her before, John. What did you think?
Oh, man, she was really good looking. I mean, I come around the corner, and there she's standing there in her tight jeans, and she's got this leather jacket and these red high heels. Man, she looked good.
Pretty good so far. Now what happened?
Oh, we went for a drive. We went down to, we went through Topanga Canyon. It's a really nice view. And I popped in this tape of Rod Stewart, and I was sort of singing Hot Legs to him, you know. And tonight's the night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's singing.
Pretty suggestive stuff there, yeah?
Oh, man, we're going down the road, and she's singing, and I'm trying to pay attention to the road, and I'm like, oh, man, this is too much.
So now what happened?
Well, we dead-ended at the beach.
Yeah,
and,
that's what happens.
That's right. It was beautiful. And we went down to this place called the Moon Shadow.
I know where that is.
Yeah, it hangs right out over the beach.
It's exactly where it is.
It's beautiful.
I do. That's exactly what it does.
Yeah, it does. It's beautiful. It's over the rocks, and we got a nice place out on the deck. And so we're looking out, and there's like the waves coming in, and the moon, and candlelight, and it was really sexy.
Really romantic, yeah.
Yeah, it was very romantic.
Yeah, yeah. Now, is she a romantic at dinner, or is it just kind of...
man. I gotta tell you, man, we're sitting there, and we're having dinner. After dinner, well, she's feeding me, first of all. She's feeding me this king crab, and she's dipping it in the butter. Oh, man, and it's just like, I'm going nuts, right? So we got the knee thing going on underneath the table, and it was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're working him pretty good. So now what happened?
Well, actually, it was so nice. I sang for him.
Again? Yeah.
I did. Well, because he liked my voice, so I sang my rendition of Making Whoopee, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's an old
oh, man. She's getting like 2 inches away from my face, and I mean, I'm sitting there going, oh, man. And then, by the time, I mean, she's just finishing up, and I'm like, oh, God, waitress? Waitress? Give me some water. Now.
So now what happened?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's your date he's talking about.
Actually, yeah, it was really cool. We were like, let's blow this joint. And I wanted to take him to one of my favorite places in town. It's the creme de la creme in L.A., you know, the Frolic Room.
Yeah.
So we went there.
I'm obviously not the creme de la creme. I didn't know.
Actually, I'm saying that to be funny. It's like kind of odd. It's very different from the beach. It's like mohawks and, so I just took him there to freak him out. It was kind of fun.
And did it?
Oh, yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
Definitely a good time. Yeah, she goes, you want to go check out some weirdos? And I said, yeah, let's go.
Well, you'll certainly be welcome back there.
No, we had a fabulous time. We were dancing and, making out a little bit.
Well, she starts dancing, and it was just like, I mean, I'm just watching her, and so is everybody else in the club, we're just digging it, and then she just like, by the time the song's over, we're up against the wall, and she's got this huge lip lock on me. By the time we're done, I got lipstick all over my face. We look like these two psychotic clowns, It was really wild.
Well, she's just wearing you out on this date, isn't she? Well, so now what happened? I'm almost afraid to ask.
say.
Well, there you go. That makes two of us. Jinx on Hot Fudge Sunny and wipe-offs.
No, I mean, we had a great time, we were dancing, and it was great. It was late, and so he took me home. I invited him inside to, show him some of my artwork.
Sure, I've heard that line before. Would you like to come up and see my etching? So now, so any particular art that you looked at? I mean, was this serious? Did she really have artwork?
Yeah, she's really good, too. I mean, there's stuff up there is just really impressive. And, you know, she's got one right above her bed, and it's just like...
Am I missing something here? What?
It's a small place, you know? So it's like right above her bed. It's like full of color and just really exciting. And you can just like look at the painting, and you look over and you see Roxy. It's like really cool.
Oh, yeah. How did this date end?
It ended with a thank you very much for such a great date. And he wrapped, yeah, I did have a very nice date. And he wrapped his arms around me and gave me a kiss goodbye.
Well, I'm glad we could be a part of it. Oh, yeah. Let's take a look through the audience. Yeah, they like John, 50%. Yeah. So if you'd like to ask John out again, we'll be happy to pay for it.
Excellent.
Ask him.
Would you like to go out with me again?
You got it.
Come on, John. Have a seat. Well, thank you both. I hope you enjoyed yourself on the show. We enjoyed having you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
we're going to come right back with another couple. Stay with us. Going to meet our next guest. She gets a wide range of comments from men on her voice, and she prefers to having or dating. She prefers dating to having a boyfriend. That's what I'm trying to say. She says that self-help tapes have improved her dating life, and there's one subject she loves to debate with men. Please welcome Allison Winchess. So sit a little closer so they can hear you on the microphone. You'll be too far away and it'll sound like you're in a barrel or something. We don't want that. Now, there's a subject, apparently, that you like to discuss with men. You like to debate it with them.
Uh-huh.
What is that?
That came from a movie. I'm sure everybody knows of it. It's When Harry Met Sally, when Billy Crystal said that men and women can never be friends.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that that's not true. I think that men and women can be friends. So I've been trying to debate men on that issue for years.
And how's this debate going as far as you're concerned?
Not too well, really.
Yeah.
They don't seem to agree with my point of view on that. But
yeah.
I keep trying.
What are these self-help tapes? I mean, there's so many out there, it's kind of hard to narrow them down.
Yeah, there's some great ones. Tony Robbins is one of my favorites.
And where you walk on coals.
Yeah, no, I haven't tried that yet, but that's
well, they say
something
that you really haven't graduated till you walk across something extremely hot and long.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's letting go of your limitations.
What is this that men talk about? I guess, is it men or women both that talk about your voice and what it sounds like? What are the comments?
Well, I kind of have a hoarse, deep voice, and I do get the comment that I sound like Sally Kellerman, or
well, a little bit.
That I sound, sexy. And then the other, that's about 90% of the people think it sounds that way, and the other 10% think I sound masculine, or that I'm a tomboy, maybe.
And which are right?
Which one's right? Well, I don't know. I guess you can determine that for yourself. Everybody has to make I don't know.
I just thought I'd ask. I mean, there was no card or anything with that question. I just came off the top of my head. Let's take a look at the men that Allison had to choose from. Now, remember, you're going to pick the man that you think's best for. Here we go. First, Gary. He dates about twice a week, and he believes that women like his decisive attitude and that he's also stable. He prefers relationships to start off as friends first before anything else happens, especially physical. And Gary told us why he's reluctant to get married.
God, that's a long, long time. Forever, from what I hear. If I do make the commitment, I want that commitment to be from the first day and forever. And I haven't found anybody that I can honestly say I'm going to spend the rest of my life with.
Next, there was Dean. He was married for 3 years. He's been divorced for 3 years. He speaks Chinese. I bet that comes in handy. He enjoys racing motorcycles, camping, and skiing. And Dean told us what women say about his premature gray hair.
Shoot, what happened to your hair? Where people will say, oh, you been painting lately? So it gets me embarrassed a little bit.
Finally, Larry considers himself to be very romantic. He believes women don't like the fact that he dates so much and can't stay with one person. He thinks his worst habit is staring at other women, especially when he's with someone else. Here's more.
I really am tired of dating. God knows how many girls I dated. I'm
tired. I'm looking to settle down. And I think Mom and Dad want me to be married pretty soon, too. Everybody else is married except for me, so every time I attend a wedding, my aunts and uncles are like, ah, you're next, you're next. I'm like, one of these days, once I meet the right girl.
Okay. Those are the three men Allison had to choose from. Time for you to vote. Who would you... Going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to meet the man that Allison selected. We'll hear everything that happened on their date. We'll do that. 2 and 2. Be right back at it.
More of Love Connection.
Allison's going to tell us who she picked.
I picked Larry.
Haven't seen each other since their date. We always hear both sides. Say hello to Larry Macio.
Hi, Allison. Hi, Chuck.
How you doing, Larry?
How you doing?
Good. Make yourself at home.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Tell me about this one.
Well, I called Larry to ask him out, and we talked for a little bit on the phone. And I asked him to tell me more about himself, and so he told me that he was a very romantic gentleman. And I said, well, why is that? And he said, because I'm very affectionate. So I thought that sounded very good. And so I decided that maybe we should go to Mexico. This great place in Mexico is really romantic.
All the way to Mexico?
Yeah, all the way to Mexico. I live in San Diego, so...
Oh, so it's not that far, is
Yeah,
it?
no, it seemed like a good idea.
It's a couple of yards, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about a half an hour.
Yeah. So now, what was your reaction when you found out she picked you, by the way, Larry?
I was relieved, Chuck, because I've been on the show 3 times before.
Oh, you have?
But never got picked.
And nobody ever picked you?
Nobody ever
I'm so sorry, Larry. Yeah, so you were relieved.
I was very relieved.
Yeah. So now, you live here in Los Angeles, or do you live in San Diego as well?
I live in Long Beach, Chuck.
Oh, so at least a little closer. So does he drive down to you?
Yeah, he drove down to pick me up, and Larry showed up around 11 o'clock on a Saturday.
Okay.
Thought it would be good for that.
Yeah, and what'd you think when you saw him?
Well, I thought he was very attractive. He's an Italian-looking guy, as you can see.
I think he is Italian.
Yeah. I think
Are you
he's,
Italian, Larry?
Masio.
About 100%.
Yeah, well, that's probably why he looks that way.
So he's a very sexy guy, as you can see, too.
And what did you think of her, Larry?
Chuck, when she opened the door, she was hot. Oh, my God.
Is that it?
Nice legs, great butt, and beautiful face.
Don't hold anything back, Larry.
Okay.
So now, what did you do?
So we got to Mexico, and we stopped at a place called Rock and Roll Taco.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's a really fun place.
You're in Tijuana.
Yeah, no, actually, Rosarito Beach.
Rosarito Beach, down below Tijuana.
Yeah, it's about a half an hour in.
Yeah, a lot of lobster down there.
A lot of lobster. That's what we were going for.
Never been there, but I've heard.
So we sat and had some margaritas, and he was just a real gentleman. He was really great because he would hold my hand, and yeah, he was very affectionate. Yeah, and I really liked that.
And were you talking a lot at this point? Or did he kind of loosen up a little bit?
Yeah, he was loosening up a little bit, but he just made sure that I was comfortable, and he would hold my hand and kiss me. And,
so now what did you do?
Then we went down to Calafia. We were going there for lobster. There's supposed to be great lobster there.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, for really cheap. And
I hear that too.
Oh, whoops, I guess.
They are.
No, but you can get really big ones. I love lobster.
You can get 8. It's like shrimp cocktail, man. They all come in a huge thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Sound like a great deal to me. So we went there, and it's very romantic also. That's why I picked the place. Sure. Because it's right on the beach, and there's balconies. You sit out on a balcony overlooking the ocean. It was a fantastic day, about 85 degrees. You couldn't have asked for a perfect day. And so
you're sitting there chewing on a lobster? And
we never ate lobster, Chuck.
Why not?
We sat and we drank margaritas and kind of looked into each other's eyes. Are
you just trying to loosen him up a little bit, or what?
No, it wasn't like that. I didn't really have to work at it too hard.
Well, come on, Larry, strong, silent type. Talk to me about this thing. Now, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, she picked a real romantic spot up in Calafia. It was like right up on the cliffs, and there was only spots for like 2 people here and 2 there. And it was great. We got a picture of margaritas, and we just hung out there for about 3 hours and just hugged and kissed the whole time.
You did?
It was nice. It was nice.
Well, you failed to mention that.
Well, I don't know.
What? So you guys are making out on the balcony up there with a picture of margaritas. Yeah! Great! Yeah.
My mother always told me to gloss over those
Boy,
things.
really? You did. You glossed over it. I guess we busted you on that, though. So now what happens after this?
And we decided to drive home, and we were going to go stop for dinner. We were going to...
Really?
It wasn't that bad.
Sorry, I just,
No, it wasn't that bad, I swear.
Okay.
We would have taken a cab. We could have always called you for a ride. Probably.
Oh, sure. Right, I'll just come right down.
But anyway, no, so we started driving home back to my house. We were going to stop for dinner, but we decided that we would go just order a pizza and watch a movie at my house.
Oh, okay.
So we decided, so we did that. So we ordered a pizza. We sat at my house. We watched the movie When Harry Met Sally.
I remember that movie.
Yeah, like I was bringing up before. It's a great movie. And what was great about it, too, was, no, I was losing my train of thought there.
I don't know. It's your story.
I know it is.
I can't even help you. I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, no, so that part did come up about what we talked about earlier, about men and women being friends.
Sure.
So I knew that Larry and I didn't have to worry about that, really. It really wasn't an issue.
We were past that, Chuck.
You were way
We were
past
kind of
that.
past that.
So how did it end?
Well, so we just sat on the sofa and we kissed a little bit more and just kind of got late and decided that all good things must come to an end.
Yeah.
And so Larry, you know, he left. Went back to Long Beach.
It was a good date, though, huh?
It was a great date.
Yeah.
Great date.
Hope to go out with him again.
Great. Let's take a look and see the audience picture. They picked Dean, 65%. Did you hear Larry back there? Larry literally audibly groaned out loud. Oh, man.
18%.
Well, anyway, we won't pay for it, but of course, you can go out with him.
Oh, I definitely want to go out with him.
Yeah. Is that all right with you, Larry?
Sure, Chuck.
Come on, Larry. Come on over and have a seat. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the show. Yeah, we enjoyed having you.
Us.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, Chuck. Nice meeting you.
That's our show for today. We'll be back next time, sometime, with more singles trying to make a love connection. Till then, I'm Chuck Woolery. I hope all your dates are good. Bye-bye, everybody.
Chuck Woolery's wardrobe furnished by Bernini. This is John Cervenka speaking for Love Connection. Love Connection is an Eric Lieber production produced in association with and distributed by Warner Brothers Domestic Television Distribution.